Bonjour. 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 Look, there she goes, another strange but special, a most peculiar mademoiselle.
We've been travelling around to different theatres, and obviously the backstage areas are quite different everywhere we go. It's beautiful when you look out front, and when obviously the show's on, everybody's engrossed in what's going on stage. But backstage, it's just madness, absolutely madness backstage, because it's at this venue, it's quite tight backstage. So at every different venue we go to, we expect it to be pretty crazy for the first sort of week or so before we actually work out who needs to move. I like to call it human Tetris backstage. That's pretty much what it is.
No pain could be deeper. No life could be cheaper.
There's so many huge numbers in the show. Shaq, one of them comes from you, If I Can't Love Her, right before the interval. How do you find performing that song night after night?
I feel like it's like the 10 o'clock number, as they would say. It's kind of
the 11 o'clock number.
11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, same time. And it's that song right at the end of Act 1, so I feel a lot of pressure having to deliver that every night. But it's
the
very...
note is just ridiculous.
It's very, very fulfilling to sing.
You're not short of some big numbers yourself. Of course, Taylor's Old as Time, a song so many of us know so well already. Was it already in your repertoire?
Only because I've wanted to sing this song so long, but I used to sing it in a show years ago with the duet version. But this is slightly different. This is more pulled back. It's kind of... It works really well with what's going on at stage at the time, so it's more like an actor's choice in this number. I don't really get a chance to belt out any songs in this show, so you know, this is purely an actor's choice to sing it the way that I do, and it works. It really does work, and it doesn't take away from what's going on, because that's what everyone's really focused on, is them starting to fall in love, and this is a really funny moment and quite endearing moment that's happening on the stage, and I get to watch it every night, and it's great.
But also, this is one of those songs that everyone's
Everyone
looking
knows.
forward to.
Yeah, and they love it, and they
so
sing along.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a pressure as well, because if I forget the words at any point,
you are not
really
getting
away with
I
that
can't get away with it.
As you say, it is a very well-known show, and there's such Disney magic in it. How do you find performing knowing that there are lots of young people in the audience that may be having their first ever experience of live theatre?
Yeah, I was actually speaking to someone about this the other day. It's such a joy to see people at stage door afterwards in their belle dresses and their Beast get up, their Gaston get up, and just speaking with them and getting to take pictures with them. Like, that's probably one of the highlights for me, knowing that I'm someone that someone else is looking up to.
100%. Yeah,
that's really special.
And it's like nice to see for me, because it was when you walk out, they're like, oh, it's Mrs. Potts. As soon as they come out, Belle and the Beast, it's like, yeah, we don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm like, yeah, bye. See you soon. But it's beautiful. Like, there are so many people that this is their first ever experience of theatre. I feel like theatre's way more accessible now for all walks of life. So, you know, Disney have really got it right with the relaxed performances that we have. And obviously young children coming to see this show, there's like a sea of yellow dresses in the audience watching this show, and they know and love the story. And some are adults that know and love this story, like big Disney fanatics that come to watch the show, and it's just a sea of people coming to say hello to us afterwards, to say how much they've loved it. And it's really brilliant to see, especially after the couple of years that we've had. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast was my first experience of West End theatre back many, many years ago. Do you guys remember your first experience of the theatre, and what made you want to get up there and do it yourself?
I think my mum took me to a play called Sundance at the Hackney Empire. I think I was about 8. I don't remember what it was about, but I just remember loads of people dancing on stage. And at the end, they brought up children on stage, and they brought me up onto the stage. And I remember looking out thinking, I want to do this.
Wow.
I was like, I want to do this. I don't care what I'm doing on stage, but I want to do this.
I'm
like
really old, so I can't actually remember that far back. I don't remember. I got taken to a lot of pantos as a kid. It was kind of a ritual every year that we went to pantos. But I think the first ever proper show that I went to see, this is going to sound really, really weird, but my boyfriend at the time's nan used to be a host family, so she used to look after people that come over from different countries. And she rang me up one day and said, I've got a load of nuns from Germany that want a tour guide around London. Will you take them to see cats? So I took about 30 nuns to see cats. It was my first ever experience of a West End show, and it was the most surreal thing I've ever done in my life. But it was brilliant, and that was my first experience. Taking 30 German nuns to go see cats. You couldn't make it up.
No,
really.
you literally couldn't. Sam, you've obviously had a bit of a career change in the last decade.
Yeah.
The X Factor, obviously, nearly 10 years ago now. How does that feel like a lifetime ago, or does it feel like it's flown by?
It does feel like a long time ago, but I feel like I'm coasting in the nice gear now. You know, I never wanted to be famous. I wanted to get a new kitchen and an extension on my house. This is totally true. I never wanted the fame side of it. I just wanted to perform and have a little bit of longevity, and I feel like I've achieved that. And doing this is where I kind of want to sit. I don't want to sort of, be that famous that I couldn't go anywhere. I do feel for a lot of people that are in that situation. I do like where I'm sitting at the moment, and although it was a long time ago, Never Bite the Hand That Feeds You, that show gave me something that I couldn't possibly do on my own, so I'm really grateful.
She does get stopped everywhere she goes, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you sure? When it comes to actually getting on stage and performing, you both have some fairly major costumes going on. What was it like the first time you got to put on your costume? Shaq, for you, putting on the Beast costume and the prosthetics on your face, did it affect your performing?
Very restricting, especially my main Beast costume, but I feel like that adds to the intensity and the
way that you hold yourself.
Yeah,
on
the way he's trapped within himself. It adds to it. So if anything, it's a blessing almost. I would have struggled even more if it was something that was comfortable to wear.
I'm just a big, huge teapot. There's a difference. I'm just a big, massive teapot that gets in the way of everyone.
No, I was thinking, your arm is stuck in that position for so long. Is it uncomfortable?
So there's nothing holding my arm up. It's purely so that it's like, I have one Gaston arm and one Bingo wing. That's the only way I can describe it. But this show's great. We have a great physio on this show to help us with that as well. And there's a lot of things that I didn't realise I would be doing when I took on this show. So it's really kind of helped me sort of look after my top half of my body more. And yes, Mrs. Potts is quite large in that costume, and I do have to hold my arm up, but it's what makes it. And there's a lot of people in the audience that ask that question all the time. I say Disney magic because Disney made me do this, and I have to hold it up for this long, and it's great, and I love it. It's good. I've just got one massive bicep, that's all.
Speaking of the kind of physical aspects of the job, Be Our Guest is obviously such a huge number, spectacle. How was it for the whole cast rehearsing that one? Because, I mean, it's long, isn't it, that song?
12 minutes.
I don't know how they do it. I really do not know how they do it. I mean, I literally go on stage, do probably 30 seconds a tap. I'm frothing at the mouth, and those guys are like 11-minute number, and Gavin is sensational. Courtney, top tap dancer. They are just absolute, all of them that do that part of the show, and it gets such a big round of applause when they do Gaston as well. That's so full on. They have to really look after themselves, and they're so good at what they do. So massive fair play to them.